Hi everybody, this is a 4-color Arcane Bombardment deck that was sent in by a viewer, so first of all, thank you very much for sending that in. We're going to take a look at it, play some games with it. I'm going to see if there are any changes that I would make to the deck. We'll say on first glance, it looks a little inconsistent, but then you kind of drill down a little more and you can see we're just using a wider variety of cards to fill in the various roles in our deck. So just for example, real quick, we've got 2 Burn Down the House, 1 Sunfall, and 1 Depopulate. These all kind of fill the board wipe slot, so altogether it's 4 plus Into the Fire. I guess you can count that one too. And where normally, somebody might play 4 Burn Down the House or 3 or 4 Sunfall, for example. We can get away with a little more variety because we're also playing 1 Invasion of Arcavios to go and pluck one of these out if we happen to need that specific card too. So interested to try this out and see how it goes. Got some interesting one-ofs and other includes that I don't always play in this deck, and so I'm looking forward to trying that out as well. One thing that gives me pause, though, is the number of pain lands over here in this deck. I always get a little nervous when I play more than 4 or 6, but we'll give it a try and see how it goes. The author of this deck said that they wanted to be able to cast stuff on turn 2 pretty reliably, and having untapped lands is certainly a good way to do that. Looking at the sideboard, you can take a quick look at that. We've got some nice situational stuff in there. And Cosmic Epiphany, which I'm eager to try. We actually haven't used that under Bombardment yet, so we'll see if we can get that going as well. All right, well, let's play a few games with this deck over on the ranked standard ladder. I'll be with you for commentary, of course, but as always, thank you very much for watching. We'll play a few games with this deck, and we'll check in on it in a little bit. All right, starting off with our 4-color Arcane Bombardment deck that somebody sent in. Keep blanking on the name. Also don't know if they want their name used, so we're just going to go with it. I'm going to start off with Raffine's Tower here. Raffine's Tower? Raffine's Tower. Got a good number of pain lands in this deck, so we'll see how that works out. Always makes me a little scared, a little shy of playing too many of those, but if you want to be able to handle aggro decks and play stuff on turn 2, could work. Yeah, let's Soul Partition here instead of Impulse. That's going to delay the green-white deck in getting developed. Early Naturalist can just let them spew out all kinds of little things. Most of them actually do fit under Into the Fire, but anything we can do to kind of slow them down is going to be nice. Yeah, well, let's just, they've got 2 Naturalists, we've got 2 Soul Partitions. We're going to hit that second one again. Up to 4 mana now. We've got 2 Impulses here and Into the Fire. Invasion of Arcavios. Opponent with Naturalist number 3. Let's see. I'm not sure. I don't think there are any counters in this deck, at least in the main deck. So let's let that resolve. Impulse sees nothing but land. Let's see, what do we need here? I guess we'll take the river. They're all pain lands except for the one that taps. Alright, we draw Bombardment. Well, yeah, let's Into the Fire here. Opponent hasn't been doing too much because of our efforts to nullify these Naturalists, so we're going to spend this turn. We might just Impulse for a land, to be honest. Make sure we can get out Bombardment. Ooh. Opponent with a Weaver of Harmony. That does let them double up on their enchantment triggers. But they're still missing that 3rd land, so we might be okay here. Yeah, tell you what, let's do Invasion. And we will search Sideboard. All right. Time to refresh my memory. What do we got in here? Aggressive Sabotage is discard. Cosmic Epiphany is draw. Based on number of instants and sorceries we have. That could be interesting. All right. Opponent with a Restoration. Now the lands are going to start coming. We'll say we have been seeing a fair number of green-white enchantments on the ladder. Union of the 3rd Path for us. Well, let's go Union. Trying to pick up a land here. We sort of stalled out a little bit. All right, we'll finally Impulse, like I said I was going to. Wow, again, nothing but lands on our second Impulse here. We're going to go Haunted Ridge, since it doesn't hurt. Finally up to 6 for next turn. See if the opponent wants to get back this Naturalist, or if they've got something else they want to do. Discards a Plains. Yep, they're going to get back the Naturalist. And Hallowed Haunting. Alright, yeah, not a bad turn. We draw Xander's Lounge. Huh, okay, well, let's play the Lounge. We're going to play Moment of Truth. Alright, there's the board wipe we were looking for. We're going to take that into our hand. We're going to put Union in our graveyard and Xander's Lounge back in the library so that we can pick up Union with Bombardment later on. Opponent's Restoration will flip over. And Calyx Guided by Fate. That's going to trigger Hallowed Haunting to get a free spirit. And Calyx is going to throw a counter over on the Naturalist. Alright, now the green-white player's board really starting to spread out here. Well, I think what we're going to do, we're going to throw one of these humans in front of the Naturalist, since we know we're probably going to burn down the house next turn. And I think we'll just pass back to our turn here. Going to hold on to this Moment of Truth as maybe something to activate Bombardment. If we can draw another untapped land, we can do it all at once. Alright, so burn down the house. Opponent's got something to answer it. They're going to touch the Spirit Realm on the Architect. Alright, that wipes everybody else out, though. Touch the Spirit Realm. Brings the Architect back, but it's the flip side. It's back on Restoration again. So they're going to find another Plains. And that does not trigger the Hallowed Haunting. Interesting. Interesting choice there. I don't know. If I was in their shoes, I might have done the Weaver instead, maybe, but I also can't see what else is in their hand. Okay, so Restoration brings back one of the Naturalists that we just took care of. They're going to cast a second one. That's going to trigger the Haunting nicely. And, yep, I think we're just going to go for it. All right, there we go. Pain Land's paying off. Untapped land off the top. We're going to go Bombardment. And we've got a Moment of Truth up as our instant to play on our opponent's turn. And now that Burn Down the House is down there, I think along with, we should have an Into the Fire down there as well. We might be okay. Opponent taking a look at the hand. Alright, there's the other Naturalist that we Soul Partitioned earlier coming down. Ooh, that could be painful. Got a Michiko's Reign of Truth, so let's see what they target with this. Okay, in response we're going to Moment of Truth. If we can wipe this board before that takes effect, that could be good for us. We get Soul Partition. Well, I think we can afford to use it. We're going to Soul Partition the Naturalist that got targeted with the Reign of Truth. Now, speaking of truth, Moment of Truth is going to happen. I think we'll take Sunfall. Excellent. So Disenchant goes to the grave. Sunfall over Depopulate there for us, just because they've shown that they've got ways to get their stuff back out of the graveyard. And I'd rather they didn't do that. All right, let's Sunfall, see what else we can get with Bombardment here. This is going to give us at least a 6/6 Incubate token. We pick up Union of the Third Path. That's pretty good. And Soul Partition. Let's make their Hallowed Haunting a little more expensive. Great, so they can replay it. but that's pretty much all they can do. Got Union here. We're going to have to find a way to deal with the Reign of Truth after that flips over. And Sunfall goes off. Great, we get our Incubate token. All right. Opponent scoops it up. Good game. All right, doing another one here with the 4-color Arcane Bombardment build. Sent in by one of our glorious viewers to the channel. We're going to lead off here. Some of our non-pain lands, since opponent not doing too much, and we don't have any 2-drops in our hand to do. Might keep the option open to cycle this Raffine's Tower here. Now let's Union first. Got to get some spells down there for Bombardment to be any good anyway. And now we're at big score mana, so we'll pass it on back here. See if we can't pick up a Chandra or a Bombardment. Oh, okay. Opponent's got a Dread Fugue for us. And they take our big score. Yeah, probably the best choice. Let's cycle this tower, see what else we can draw here. Land, and another land off the top. Alright, well, this might be one of those cases where we got to redraw. Let's put back, yeah, pretty much everything. Into the Fire, going to draw us a whole new hand. 2 lands, Surge of Salvation. Alright, opponent's got a Shieldred coming down on their side. We're going to draw and take 2, drop down to 24. Play this Pain land, and we're just going to slam Arcane Bombardment. Now that I know they don't have Invoke Despairs anymore, that we can be a little more aggressive in how we push this, especially sitting on such a high life total. Invasion of Fiora. Flips over into Marchesa, that's right. Alright, well, they're going to not wipe anything off the board, but they get a free Marchesa. Not sure we have to worry too much about that, though. Let's see. Okay, well, regardless, we did draw a Sunfall, and I would love to get rid of Shieldred anyway. Let's see. What do we got down here? Into the Fire, Big Score, and Union. All right, let's Sunfall. Right? There's no way this can backfire, right? Alright, we're going to Sunfall. Pick up Big Score with Bombardment. That's pretty good. We'll discard the Lounge to that. Draw into a Moment of Truth. That's going to be nice. Oh, Shieldred does hit us. Okay. Did forget about that for a moment, but we already Unioned. We've got another Union in hand, so we're still only at 17. Oh, opponent's got to Breach the Multiverse. Song of Salvation not going to help me there. Let's see what opponent gets first before we decide what to do. Oh, they got our Chandra and a Graveyard Trespasser. That's a pretty good flip for them. They're going to target Burn Down the House, so we're going to try... We got it! Oh, perfect. Love it when a plan comes together. We pull up the card they were targeting with the Trespasser. We're also going to Big Score away Dreams, and opponent can't believe it either. Good game. Okay. Yeah, this is a pretty fun one. Like, the games have some good variety to them because we're playing a good mix of cards. Think we can keep this 2-lander just because of Impulse, but what do we get rid of? Yeah, I think it's Bombardment for now. We've got enough Impulse and card draw. We're going to find another one. And I would rather hold on to the stuff that we can do in the early game for now. Oh, man. Scrap Gorger. That is another card I've been seeing more of on the ladder, and that is not good for us. Like, when you're trying to set up your graveyard in the early game with all these cheap spells, I don't want them to be eaten by a Scrap Gorger. We've got Scrap Gorger's twin brother here. Opponent passes it on over. All right, so they're ramping towards something. The question is what? Yep, let's pass it here. We can keep up Impulse or Union depending on how threatening their next play might be. Opponent thinking about it. Shakedown heavy. All right. So there could be a fight rigging in this deck, and fight rigging would mean all kinds of big creatures, usually Titans of Industry, maybe some Archfiends. Let's go Impulse here. A few small spells and some lands. Kind of need the lands. Take this Shipwreck Marsh. We get a Hero's Downfall. Which at least we can afford to play. Or we could just skip it and go right for big score. Maybe take one hit from the heavy instead of letting them draw a card. That would let us big score this turn and then Sunfall next turn. Oh, but a Vraska now. Well, I might be able to do the same plan. Hero's Downfall for Vraska. Okay, they opt to proliferate and draw. Counter on two of their things. Heavy's going to attack. We will decline the card draw. Alright, take 6 from the heavy. We're going to big score, I think. This isn't terribly threatening, and we kind of need the stuff. We draw 2 lands, get 2 treasures. Third land comes off the top. Let's see, Vraska can just hit creatures and turn them into treasure. And she's still a little ways off from ultimate territory. Could Sunfall here, and then maybe have an Incubate token to sort of threaten Vraska a little bit with. At least keep her in check for the moment. Or they could opt to just draw again, and we can Hero's Downfall it. Yep, there's the draw. Patience. Opponent looking at that token. They've got another Scrap Gorger. Well, the good thing about these tokens is they are immune to Go for the Throat, one of the more commonly played removal spells, since they are artifacts. All right. Opponent's passing it back. We're going to activate this Incubate token. Do they have the removal for it? Ah, looks like they do. Terra Sunder is going to take care of that. Okay. Let's play Underground River. I think we'll just Hero's Downfall Vraska. That's enough cards. Let's contain that before it gets any worse. And we could Dreams if they're hiding something big, but I think we've got a little time. Most of the big... Well, except for that. Most of the big scary stuff is like 7, 8 mana. Thought we had some more time, but no, they drew the Archfiend, so we're going to Union here. We draw a big score, gain a little bit of life. Another land off the top. Okay. This may be another big score turn while we search for one of our win conditions in Arcane Bombardment or Chandra. Archfiend going to lose one of its counters. Opponent sitting on 6 mana altogether. And attacking with the Archfiend. Also the Scrap Gorger, looking to dismantle our graveyard a little bit. Alright, and we take 6, dropping down to 10. Opponent looking to pass it back. Let's go with big score. I'm going to toss this Disenchant. We haven't seen any fight riggings yet. We can always pull it back later if we need it with a bombardment, say. And we see Sea Double and Moment of Truth. Let's go Moment of Truth. I want to keep digging. Now that we have so much mana, we really need one of our endgame plays. All right, we'll take Deserted Beach, get rid of these other two. And just go to my turn. Oh, no. Just keep drawing lands. All right, well, let's cycle this tower away. Gonna need something here. Archfiend threatening to take us out of the game very soon. All right, we're gonna pass, keep up Sea Double, try to impulse our way into something good to do this turn. Opponent's sitting on the magic number of 7 mana. Could this be a breach? Could this be a Titan of Industry? Nope, just an attack. Scrapgorger's going to eat a land out of our graveyard for some reason. And Archfiend coming at us. Let's just impulse and see if we can find anything useful right now. Okay. Go for the throat. That could work. And it'll save us a little bit of life, too. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to go for the throat on the Archfiend. Ooh, do they have something? No, it looked like they did. Thought they might have a safekeeping or a... forget the name of that card. The black one that brings it back from the dead. We draw Sunset Revelry, huh? Yeah, let's Revelry. Draw a card, gain life, give us a couple of creature tokens. There's a big score. Which, yeah, I think we can do that now. We'll pitch this land. Because that'll give us 2 treasures, and that way if we draw something like Bombardment, we might have enough mana left to do something. Hey, all right. We drew Bombardment. We have a 2 mana instant. Should we just go for it? Let's wait. I'm probably unreasonably worried about a Titan of Industry or like a Boseiju. Wouldn't have had enough mana to do Moment of Truth there anyway, so probably for the best. Me and the mathematics sometimes do not get along, so they pluck out Go for the Throat with the Scrapgorger. It is now a 3/3. Interesting. They've got a Gix's Command. I think we're just going to let that resolve. I'm not sure copying that does me any favors. I'd rather hold on to it for something bigger. All right, now I think we got the mana for this. Arcane Bombardment. 6 mana left. We're going to do Dreams of Steel and Oil. We know you've got 1 target for us, but what is the rest? Oh, and they don't want to show us. All right, good game. All right, so I've taken a quick look. We've tried to balance out some things. You can see the land adjustments I've made over here. We're leaning a little bit heavier on these lands that don't come into play tapped, basically from turn 3 and beyond. I find that usually we've got something available so that we can cast one of our turn 2 spells on time. And so we've still got a few pain lands in here to kind of lend themselves to that. I think I went from 11 down to 6, so we've at least got a decent chance of having something untapped on turn 2. So I switched in a pile-on for the Hero's Downfall that was in here before. We'll see if we can't try to make this work instead. And I also added in 1 copy of Chandra Hope's Beacon to give us a little bit more of a late-game kind of control-y finisher. I'm going to try to keep Invasion of Arcavios in here as well. It is nice to tutor for spells that we need, and it's just kind of a fun card in general. I toyed with the idea also of taking out this Depopulate and going up to 2 Sunfall, because I love playing Sunfall with Bombardment. It kind of feels a little like Burn Down the House because we can incubate and kind of get a creature for ourselves for the future, but it's still not quite the same as Burn Down the House. Sometimes you just need to wipe the board a turn earlier, and so we're going to try Depopulate. So anyway, it's not too different. I really liked the bones of this deck, so we're going to try a few more games with it out on the standard ladder, see if it continues to do well, or if it just totally tanks on me because of the changes I've made. Let's take another look. All right. Back here for some more with this 4-color Arcane Bombardment deck. Colors weren't good in that first hand. We're going to try to keep this one. We've got a big score. It'll probably be fine. Mostly just adjusted the number of pain lands, tweaked some tiny numbers of cards. And of course running right into mono red, which is going to be a good test of this deck's survivability in the first few turns of the game. Opponent starting off strong with a Swift Spear. Gonna hit us in the face, with Play with Fire. Pumping up the Swift Spear a little bit. Goes to attacks. Yep, looks like they might have another instant in hand for that. They do. It's another Play with Fire. That takes us to 15. They're going to scry. Puts one on the bottom and hits us for 3. So we're already at 12 life. All right. So we do have some Soul Partitions up. We might have to hit this creature. Oh, my. Oh, that is not good at all for us. Gonna do damage if we've got non-basic lands, which we certainly do, but the good news is they spent all their mana on that. So we're gonna Soul Partition it. At least they can't pump up the Swift Spear. We're gonna get land number 4 down. Most likely a big score this turn, unless they make something big and scary. Alright, nope, just gonna activate the Foundry. Go into attacks. Do they have the instant for it? Another Play with Fire. Alright, let's big score then. I think it's Soul Partition here. We get a Sunset Revelry. That's going to be helpful, as we're going to drop pretty low from this attack. Head on down to 5 life. We draw Go for the Throat, though, which is also nice. So let's play Raffine's Tower. Let's get Chandra down. Let's do all of our treasures to play her. I think what we're going to do is use that for white mana and get a double up version of Sunset Revelry. Give us a nice little cushion of life and a couple of chump blockers, since we know they don't really have any tramplers. There's a menace creature in their hand, or sorry, that's exiled with Soul Partition, but we've got time to deal with that. We're set up to maybe do some Go for the Throat on some things next turn. So we just got to kind of protect Chandra. She's our meal ticket. Our ticket out of here. Opponent activates the Foundry. They got a Feldon. They're sending Feldon over at Chandra along with the Foundry and the Swift Spear. So they recognize Chandra as key to this whole thing too. Well, if she's only taking 3 and we can get rid of the Foundry, that's going to be great for us. Because that Foundry really dictates the time when you can interact with it, and I don't want to do that. Question is, what do we do with Chandra here? I think mana makes the most sense. Let's do... yeah, just red. I guess that makes sense. We're going to do Burn Down the House. Double that up. Get 6 Devils. And we've still got mana left to do a double Go for the Throat on our opponent's turn. So let's throw a few Devils at our opponent. Act like we want to start winning this game. And we've got Go for the Throat up here. Goes to attacks. Alright, opponent just sending these in at our face. We're going to put some in front of Feldon and some Devils in front of the Swift Spear. Oh, they've got Lightning Strike that's going at Chandra. That's going to pump up the Swift Spear a little bit, but I think we've blocked in such a way where we can throw enough damage at the Swift Spear. Still be okay. And we'll point some devils at some things, finish them off. And we've still got Go for the Throat in hand for this non-basic land hating creature. Alright, opponent finds some things with Feldon. They're going to go Swift Spear. One card left that we don't know about. Oh, it's a Strangle. Oh, no. Well, yeah, it doesn't make sense to go for the Throat now. Only one creature on the board. Might as well. But we can't Dreams that Furnace thing out of their hand. Okay, alright. Well, this is taking a turn. We're going to leave one devil back for a haste creature. I think what we're going to do is big score away this Dreams. And try to rebuild. Bloodthirsty Adversary. Okay. Doesn't have the mana to play something out of the grave. Just a hasty 2/2. I think we're just going to block here. Yep. Sounds good. We'll throw 1 damage back at it. Down to 1 devil. Alright, big score then. Discard the Dreams. We get Sea Double, Pile On, and Union of the Third Path. Let's... Yeah, let's get in with our devil. We kind of know what the opponent's got, and we've got the ability to react to it. Let's just do it on their turn. Okay, there's the Furnace Punisher. Doesn't make sense for us to copy that, so I think we're just going to try to remove it. Let's throw it with throw the Pile On at it. We get Surveil 2. Don't want Into the Fire. Union's pretty decent here, though. And let's go ahead and Union right now. Alright, we pick up Battlefield Forge off the top. Alright, well, we're at 15. Let's keep getting in. I know they've got a Foundry over there, but we're at a decent spot, and they're kind of out of resources. So if we can keep chipping away at them, we might actually be able to use this Sea Double. And maybe copy a big hasty creature or something like that. Come in for some surprise damage. We're going to take 2 from the Foundry, drop to 13. And just to keep drawing, we're going to go Union of the Third Path. Another Forge and an Impulse. Okay, going to attacks. Yeah, I think this makes sense. We're going to drop them to 11. And we're going to pass it back. We've got instants. We're going to do them on their turn. There's Kumano faces Kakazan. Sure, I don't think it makes sense to copy that. We're going to drop to 14. Opponent fires up the Foundry. All right, they're going to swing it on over. And we will drop to 12 from that attack. Let's Impulse and see if we can't find something fun. Play with Fire and Invasion of Arcavios. All right. That could work. Let's see if we can't find something to polish this one off. All right, we are going to search. Sideboard is tempting, but let's take a look at what's actually over there. We do have Epiphany. Not much in the life gain department. The Surge of Salvation is certainly relevant. I think let's just search our library. And, oh no! It's only instants or sorceries. Ouch. Okay. Well, let's take big score then. Man. Here I was thinking we'd go pull out a bombardment. It would be nice and clever. But no. So in hindsight, since we're limited to instants and sorceries, yeah, big score's okay. We probably could have just done impulse as well, but from the sideboard, either the surge or the big blue card draw spell would have been good. And let's copy our spell. Ooh, we can copy a creature too? Yeah, let's do that. It is just a lowly devil, but it's going to help out. All right. Copied big score. Regular big score. We've got some lands. We've got a bombardment, and we've got a spell. I guess we'll attack this invasion. Okay, no blocks, since blocking the devil with the foundry is not good. Yeah, I guess thinking more about it now, I'm not sure how much invasion helps us at this point in the game. If we can get bombardment down and start casting things, that's kind of where our resource of future spells is coming from. I'm not sure how relevant like copying stuff from our hand is immediately going to be, although it's pretty good. Alright, can't block with the devil and trade with something here, so we're just going to take 4. Kumano on the board negates the devil's death trigger. And I want to hold on to this spell. Oh, good, we draw another one. Wanted to hold on to Go for the Throat in case we just drew a land this turn, but we are set up nicely for at least the next 2. So, Foundry's an artifact creature, so let's use Go for the Throat on Kumano. That's going to activate Bombardment. We pull out, of course we pull out Go for the Throat. All right. And we will attack. Yeah, let's still attack the invasion, I guess. Just trying to build up bombardment a little bit here. Keeping up play with fire for the foundry. Opponent just draws a land. Activates the foundry. We're going to resolve that. Let him go to attacks and tap it. And then play with fire. So that's going to eliminate that. We pick up into the fire. It's at least going to be some card draw for us. We'll decline that Go for the Throat. Put this Sundown Pass back. We pick up Impulse and Disenchant. Alright. Back to our turn. Let's Impulse. That activates Bombardment. We get Sunset Revelry. And into the fire. So let's into the fire. We're going to do Sunset Revelry. No cards, but definitely life. We'll put back this land. And this Disenchant might not have that many targets. Just some Kumanos in there. Excellent. There's a Chandra. And we'll take another Impulse. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's start finishing this game off then. We're going to... Oh, these are different devils. All right, we're going to attack the face. Interesting that they look different. And we're going to play Chandra. Give ourselves some mana just to make her a little bit bigger. Pass it on back. Opponent's got a Phoenix Chick. Still fighting the good fight over there. Alright, let's Impulse in response to this attack. Chandra's going to double up Impulse. First one finds Burn Down the House. That's great for finishing off a game. And let's do Go for the Throat from Bombardment. Revelry, why not? Impulse, and into the fire. That's going to let us exchange this land. Alright, another Impulse. Let's take Soul Partition. Revelry, Yeah, it doesn't do anything for us. And the chick is down. Another impulse. Let's get a backup bombardment here. Start digging up things twice as fast from the graveyard. But first, let's get a couple of copies of Burn Down the House going. Bombardment still helping us with our card selection. Into the fire. And yep, opponent sees we are going now. So a good game. All right. Got time for at least one more here. 4-color Arcane Bombardment. Made some minor changes to this deck. Pylon being one of them. So yeah, fun fact, this deck I think originally came with 1 Invoke Despair in it, but as we all know, that has gone away. Forgetting now what I threw in there instead of Invoke Despair, but we're essentially 59 out of 60 cards were the same that we started with. All right. Turn 3, we are online with some of our instants. Can definitely see how the pain lands come in handy if you've got just a couple more of them. As an opponent has a Blood Tithe Harvester for us. Okay. Well, let's impulse then. 3 lands and a Revelry. Think we're going to go land. Yep, good. Usually when I go land, we then draw lands for the rest of the game, but this is fine. We're at big score mana, so we're going to pass it on back. Hopefully get lucky here and pick up a Chandra or a Bombardment with this big score. Opponent's got a Scrap Gorger for us. Start eating the graveyard pretty soon. All right, going to attacks. Hit us with the Blood Tithe Harvester. Drops us down to 17. What do we discard? We've got to Depopulate in hand. Let's discard Burn Down the House. I'm going to be optimistic and say we're going to pick that up with a Bombardment. Oh, but we draw Chandra. That's still pretty good. Let's go. Let's see. Does this work out? Yeah, I think it does. All right, so Chandra coming down. Any responses, opponent? No. We'll see if she survives the turn. We're going to add some mana. We're going to go black and black. We're going to do... Yeah, let's do this. It's very tempting to double up. We're going to do double Dreams of Steel and Oil. See if they're hiding any big creatures that they're trying to ramp towards. And, just one creature. A couple of cut downs. We exile their creature. And it is over to them, so... Alright, another Blood Tithe Harvester, but... Chandra being at such a high loyalty, nothing else in their hand, she is going to be okay to be hit with this attack if that's what they want to do. Alright, send in the Scrap Gorger as well. Got to send a message. They pull out our Impulse from the grave.
Never giving up.
As we draw land off the top. Alright. I think Depopulate now. If only to get rid of this Scrap Gorger.
I'm ending this.
And as for instance, we've got a Union of the Third Path on deck to use next turn. I suppose we could have added mana before that, but we can afford it all anyway with this treasure. Yeah. Union, get ready. It is your turn. Opponent with another Plaza of Heroes. Cruelty of Gix. All right. Well, not much we can do about it now. Let's let them resolve and see which mode they want to pick. They're going to go with the discard. Well, joke's on you, opponent. This is not that kind of deck. They are going to be able to tutor for anything, though, next turn. So if they've got Boseiju or... Well, not Boseiju. Planeswalker removal, they'll be okay. We're going to double up this Union here. Ooh, we get to burn down the house. That's good. Play out our lands. Let's add our mana with Chandra first. Do red, red. We will cast... yeah, burn down the house. We're going to make Devils. Resolve that. It keeps asking me because we have C double in hand, so it does give us plenty of chances to copy the spells. We're going to attack for 6, drop our opponent to 14. See if we can't get them low enough to where these Devils become a big liability. Alright, so I wonder what they've tutored for here. I see Atrax has gone to the graveyard with that blood token. Trying to set up to reanimate her, I guess, next turn with Cruelty. Blood Tithe Harvester again. And finally Tyvar, the Planeswalker. So Tyvar Jubilant Brawler. And they're going to opt to mill with that.
It's not a victory without you.
Basically puts a few lands in the grave and lets them get another Harvester and another blood token. Alright, so they're set up for a free reanimation of Atraxa. Let's do pile on. Well, wait a minute. Or does it make sense to copy this? Alright, tell you what. Let's do go for the throat.
Let's give it our all.
We're going to hit the Harvesters. We get a free copy from Chandra. Alright, so now we untap. We've got 6 Devils. We're going to go in. And now I think with all the loyalty that's on Chandra, we can finish this before they get to reanimate Atraxa. So we'll minus Chandra. And yeah, we'll take out Tyvar too. 5 to each. And that should wrap it up. Good game. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up here real quick. No big changes to the sideboard for me. I love trying out stuff that I don't usually try. And so, yeah, I did pull out one Cosmic Epiphany in one of these games. But yeah, all these seem pretty good. To sum it all up, let me just say, I think I was wrong with some of my changes. I'm going to stick by taking out one of the early game cards, though. I think Surge of Salvation, that's kind of a fun one. It just strikes me as too situational. Although I will say, I did see somebody playing that Change the Equation card, the blue one. You know, it's kind of a mediocre counterspell, but then it flat out counters any green or red spell under 6 mana. That one could work in some shell, but this one I'm less sold on, though there is a lot of red on the ladder. I can see the argument for it, but, you know, personally, it's just not for me. As for the lands, though, I want to say that the contributor of this deck was actually probably right on with their suggestions. 11 Pain lands is a little too scary for me, but I took it down to 6 here, and there were some situations where I would have loved to play something right on 2, and we didn't have quite the right mana mix for it. So, of course, you're going to get some variance in each game with the lands that you draw, but I think somewhere between where we were with 6 and the top end of 11 or 12, somewhere in there is the sweet spot where you're not going to hurt yourself too much, but you're going to pretty consistently be able to cast something on turn 2. So yeah, overall this is a really fun one. I love the touch of having some one-ofs so you can kind of pick and choose, and each game feels really different, so it makes it a lot of fun. Anyway, I want to thank this deck's creator for sending it in, having me take it for a spin. It's really hard to put yourself out there sometimes, especially with Magic decks. Some people can be really harsh, and you never quite know how they're going to take it. So it takes a little bravery to do that. But at any rate, I really enjoyed this, and I want to say I couldn't really improve this too much. It's spot on. What it does is fun, and yeah, it's a pretty good one. So thanks one more time for sending it in, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Take care.